Hello everyone, welcome to my studio. I'm Kurt Brugel and I have a passion for drawing. My profile has a link to my website, which is kurtbrugel.com. Follow me and join me every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. when I draw for 20 minutes. Invite your friends, feel free to ask questions, make comments, and as always, if you like what you see, tap the screen, send some love and encouragement. So for the next, thank you very much. For the next 20 minutes, this is part 2. Tuesday, I did the introduction to drawing with chance and surprise, which is really more about just jumping in, grabbing a piece of paper and a pencil, and just start drawing. So it was a little kind of trick, if you will, to get you to get going on a drawing. And here's the drawing up to where we're calling stage 2 with chance and surprise. So what I did was I have a light table, and I took the skeleton, put a blank piece of paper on the light table, and then started sketching out the character. Now what I'm doing is dealing with structure and form. So this is where it gets very beefy, real kind of heavy. These are stages 2 and 3 in my practice for drawing. It's basically a smudging of the drawing after you put down stage 1, which is the gesture and scribbling out of your intention. And then you come back and start erasing. There's a lot of mystery, I think, that lies in this time and space that we deal with the drawing, which there's a tendency, and I fall into it all the time, which is that we want to get to the detail. We want to see the character. We want to put in the nice, beautiful blonde hair and the sword belt and so on and so forth. Your responsibility at this time with stage 2 and 3 is really to keep the character anonymous, to stay away from the details as much as you can, and the character itself. The character will come back and we'll be able to deal with the character in details, and then of course adding style on top of it. The most important part of this time period of dealing with structure and form is value. I'm going to do a little demonstration for you in what value is. So, what value is that this is a white piece of paper. When we start putting marks on the paper, it now gets very dark. Okay? So with that being said, we want to get from here to here, which is just white. And that's going to be shading. Now all I'm doing is just running this pencil, and as I get closer, it gets lighter. Now, my particular approach to drawing is in a cross-hatching way. A character. I am drawing a character. Right now I'm just explaining value and grayscale for what we're going to be getting into. Okay? So at this point, this character, which is just a masculine character right now, I smudged with a chamois. And a chamois is just basically a piece of cloth. I've been using this for quite a few times, years as a matter of fact, so it's nice and dirty. So just rubbing lightly over the top to smudge down all the scribbles. Then I came back with an electric eraser. So I started drawing with an electric eraser all these white lines. Now, what I did is I want the light source coming from over here. So this side of the figure gets hit with light. then this side of the figure will stay dark, and I'll keep bringing back darks and going back to lights, bouncing back and forth. And then just to keep the darks darker, I erase the light on this side, keeping this side generally dark. I'm actually gonna, I did, right before jumping on Periscope, I did this in a video. So last Tuesday, and then the video I just did, this video, and Saturday's follow-up and conclusion, I'm going to lace them all together and post them on YouTube. So with that being said, I'm just going to move into an eraser pencil. So this is an entire piece of eraser. And we're going to get into just sort of calming down some of the starkness between what had been drawn, smudged, and then the electric eraser. So, keeping the character anonymous, so not worried about details. And just removing any information I just no longer need. So there's no mistakes in art, none whatsoever. Hence, taking chances for surprises, taking those surprises, and then just working with them. And letting yourself explore what it is that you do know and what you don't know. And I think that's kind of the, thank you, that's kind of the toughest part of getting into drawing for some people. I hear a lot of people say, I don't know how to draw. Well, I disagree. Drawing is just scribbling in your own handwriting. So once lines go on the page, the piece of paper with a pencil, you just start dealing with them. If you don't like a line, erase it. If you need more lines, make more lines. I was taught that the more lines you can get down in the beginning of your process, the more information you have, the more information you get rid of. So with that being said, it's really all about just giving yourself the time and patience with yourself to just draw. So this is also where things like the question of copying. I'm a big advocate for copying. Grab a favorite picture and just start drawing. If you actually do a Google search on drawing, you'll see a ton of the same kind of drawings, usually over and over again. People will just kind of take famous drawings from old masters. The one is Albrecht Dürer's The Praying Hands. You'll see that one redrawn. I think that's a great drawing to copy. Very challenging, but you'll learn a super amount of information by copying old masters. And I'm actually going to be doing that very soon on these, I guess, inspirational tutorials and getting people to draw, not be afraid. The joy of drawing, if you will. So, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here for 20 minutes, another 10. So all I'm doing is calming down some of this crazy scribbling with the eraser as well. Now, all right, so I'm pretty cool with this right now, just for calming down. Now the big thing is going to be, I'm not without reference. So as an anatomical drawing right now, it is. This was the skeleton. Put it on a light box. Start scribbling, erasing on top of it. I'm using reference. This is from my favorite anatomy book. It's by David K. Rubens. So I'm using this. It's off to the side. I can peek out and look for references. Right now, I'm just going to start going for some cross-hatching. And I'm just going to look for information that now is absolutely important to me. And one of the reasons I love this is the Stadler Norica pencil. It has a white eraser, so I don't have to worry about that pink eraser smudge. But yeah, this is the majority of my drawing. The time I spend will be in the erasing and drawing part, keeping the character anonymous, nothing too detailed yet. Nothing too detailed. Sort of seeing what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in my mind. You'll also hear me say things like listening to the drawing. The drawing will tell you what it needs more of and what it needs less of. So as I said before, there's a light's hitting here. I'm going to keep it darker over here so it looks more like light. And then the darkness on the other side of the lightness. That's where this cross-hatching comes into. It would get very dark along here, a little lighter, and then into the light again, which is all I'm working on, values. Thank you very much. You notice I'm going back over the erased areas. A lot of really neat effects start coming in. You can see in the chest. Oh, thank you for the follow. In the chest. And so as I said, this is a majority of my drawing time is spent in this just drawing out values. Keep a couple pencils sharpened on the side here. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. There is no right way or wrong way for drawing, only your way. Okay, so we're coming to the end of 20 minutes for today. If you have any comments or questions you'd like to ask, please feel free. It looks like I've got a really good going on here. Pretty excited. I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on this character. Just keep the values going. Okay, looking good. Once I get into this noodling, I have a tendency to stay into this noodling. It's kind of get zoned in on it. Okay, so thank everybody for joining me today. I'm Kurt Bruegel. I have a passion for drawing, and my profile is a link to my website, Kurt Bruegel Draws. Join me every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. I spend 20 minutes in my studio drawing, answering questions, most importantly, inspiring. If you have 20 minutes today, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and draw something. I really, once again, had a great time drawing for you today, and we'll see you on Saturday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.